Welcome to the Trading Sliders Podcast. Here we go, episode number 56 of the Trading Sliders Podcast. How's everybody doing out there? I'm Bobby Puckett. Here with me in studios, Kurt the Flash Bennett. What's going on, Flash?
Not much, Bobby. Just busy weekend again as usual.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I had a busy week all week. So
Yeah, well, you tried to go on vacation and tear stuff up.
I had disasters. I had all kinds of stuff going on.
Yeah, yeah. The week that kept giving. It's like the gift that kept on giving, Clark.
It all worked out.
Yeah. But yeah, another long drive to southeast Tennessee this weekend.
Yeah.
Kind of the norm here lately.
We seem to end up down there a lot.
Yeah, well, at least this time of year is a pretty drive.
Yeah, it was nice.
It was weather was nice and beautiful. What do they call that? Foliage?
Yeah.
Is that what they call it? Look at that. Research, man. Big words.
Me and Deb took a side trip and went over and seen the Cumberland Falls and all that stuff. It was awesome over that way.
Yeah, it was beautiful all down through there. So it was if there was a positive about this weekend, that was one. So,
Yeah.
But the show this week being brought to you by Diesel Boys LLC. If you need any type of diesel truck work done, fuel pumps, injectors, anything diesel automotive at all, reach out to Brandon Hooker and the boys at Diesel Boy. Our deep dive is being brought to you by Kentucky Clutch and Performance. This week's deep dive, I almost forgot to mention the guest again. I just seem to do that sometimes.
Yeah.
Bryan Hulbert, the voice of USAC. I'm sure you heard this saying.
Oh, yeah.
This is what you saved your lunch money for. But Bryan Hulbert, the voice of USAC, the king of the one-liners.
Yeah.
This week sat down with me. I guess it was 2 weeks ago now. A few weeks back. All this starts to run together. But he sat down with me and I asked, man, I get 20, 30 minutes every time? And he gave us an hour. So,
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, awful nice of him. But yeah, our deep dive is being brought to you by Kentucky Clutch and Performance. If you need any type of automotive clutch work done, reach out to Chris and the guys at Kentucky Clutch and Performance. Our slider of the week being brought to you by Walt at Speed Decals. If you need any type vinyl work done whatsoever, I know it's getting where race season is done, but Walt does yard signs, vehicle wraps, makes yard sale signs, all kinds of different stuff. So if you need any type vinyl work done, reach out to Walt at Speed Decals. Our crash of the week being brought to you by D.O. Handyman Remodeling. We kind of say this every week, but we had about 4 or 5 again that we could choose from.
Yep.
But our crash of the week being brought to you by D.O. Handyman Remodeling. If you need any type of handyman work done around the house, I know the weather's getting cooler. Today it's really cool.
Yeah.
But the weather's getting cooler, and if you got the very few odd and end jobs you need tidied up before the winter gets here, reach out to David at 812-989-5002. And our racetrack spotlight being brought to you by our good buddy JT's Trackside Catering. If you need any catering event whatsoever, none too big or too small, he does weddings, birthday parties, bachelor parties, Halloween parties, race trips, any type of catering event whatsoever, and take it from a fat ass. The food is good.
Yeah.
Reach out to JT's Trackside Catering. All right. I think we got everything.
Yeah, I think we got them all again.
I think so. We are looking for a sponsor.
Yeah.
I want to put that out there because I've actually had a few people, they really like our past guest update. Good and bad, they said. Let's keep up because, so I said, all right, well, if we find a sponsor, we're going to do it. But so news of the week, our past guest had a good week again.
Oh, yeah. Good week
real
again.
good week. So we'll talk about that. We have some new champions, Flash.
Yeah.
Lucas Oil crowned champion, High Limit crowned champion. We'll get into that. USAC heads west. One of our former guests threw everything he had in the truck and made a go at it.
Yeah.
First night was pretty good. Second night, not so much.
Yeah.
So
I've seen that.
So we'll get into that. We take a weekend race trip. Probably the best mini stock race that nobody got to see.
Yeah.
Because there was nobody in the stands.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about race formats, crowds, and stuff like that about our race trip.
Anytime you can run the last 2 laps 3 wide, it's pretty good.
Yeah, pretty damn good. So,
yeah.
And then just in case you was wondering, Flash, I don't know if you forgot, but Lincoln Park Speedway is still badass.
Oh, yeah.
So,
yeah.
And last but certainly not least, a lot of people that listen to the show, with this being a USAC guest, so you probably know who this name is. But if you're a late model modified guy, you don't really know who this name is. But Frank Flood is a bad mofo. Yeah. Frank Flood did Frank Flood things this weekend. The Golden Micros proved to be the Golden Micros. So all that and much, much more on this week's Trading Sliders podcast. Sound professional?
Yeah.
Damn, look at that. We might be figuring this shit out.
Getting there.
Well, I don't know if we'll ever get there. But
yeah.
We're gonna try to go the right direction. Let's start off first. I just want to get this off the because I can tell how long we go on this is where I can cut it off.
Right.
Because if we start on this later, there's a chance I may explode.
Yeah.
But formats, Flash. Formats. And not only formats, just guys bitching about formats.
Oh, yeah.
Now, you were a guy that raced Sports Drone growing up. And tell everybody where you had to start because you were the points leader every week.
Dead last. Every single night.
So there's 24 cars.
24 cars, 25 laps.
Yeah. So if there's 24 cars, you had to try to pass those 24 cars?
Yeah.
Okay, I was just wondering.
Yep. Had to try to pass them. I mean, they didn't just move over.
Yeah. I was wondering that because I've seen a lot of stuff this week about formats.
Yeah.
There was a big crate race down in eastern Kentucky, and they changed the formats around for the support division because this track's not real timely, but they were done by midnight last night.
Right.
And that's because of these formats that we're going to talk about.
Right.
But I seen guys bitching like, well, if I got to qualify, if we're not qualifying and we're pill drawing, I'm not racing. What?
Yeah.
So I don't understand the logic. Well, you tear cars up by starting slower guys in front. Okay, it's possible.
Yeah.
It's very possible. But if you're that much better than them guys, aren't you going to have to pass them anyways?
Yeah, you're going to be passing them in 3 laps anyway. So.
I mean, that's just my opinion. I mean, I don't understand the gripe about pill drawing and having...
I don't either, and I think it's because I always started in the back,
Yeah.
Or close to the back.
Close
anyway.
to the back, yeah. I don't understand it. I really don't. I mean, for heaven's sake, you have to pass a car to win a race.
Yeah.
That would just be terrible.
Yeah.
That would be the worst thing possible. That's why I like USAC's format so much.
Yeah.
They invert
USAC and IMCA stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, the way they do their stuff too.
Yeah,
awesome.
draw, redraw.
Yep.
I mean, it's guys, especially now USAC and World of Outlaws and Lucas Oil late models. Those guys, a lot of those guys do that for business.
Right.
But the weekend racer, this may come as a surprise to you.
Yeah.
You are there strictly for entertainment.
Yeah.
Entertainment purposes only. You're not a professional.
Yeah.
As much as you want to run, be a professional, you may run a professional outfit. This is not NASCAR. This is not the Lucas Oil Series. This is not the World of Outlaw Series. And even those guys need to quit bitching, but we're gonna let that go for a second. Guys, when you show up to the racetrack, you're there because people want to see entertainment. Starting the fast guy on the pole and just everybody getting out of his way with a move over flag, that's not entertainment.
No. And still hearing stuff about streaming causing all these problems. That's not the problem. The problem is you got to have a show.
Yes.
For people to show up. I mean, that's it. They're not going to show up at your racetrack if you don't have a show.
Well, and you don't have a show if you got 11 cars and the fastest car starts on the pole.
front and just drives off. And
so it's just but there is instances where fast qualifier starts on the front, like what we're going to talk about when we get to our trip. It was a phenomenal race.
Yeah.
But more times than not, it's not.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
I mean, I don't want to get on a big soapbox on this because I'll lose my shit.
I could talk about that for hours too.
Yeah, I will. But I don't understand. I heard somebody say, "Well, it's fabricated action." Yeah, that's what we're doing.
Yeah,
we're fabricating action.
It's a show, people.
Yeah, that's what we're there for. And they said, well, then they go back to this and say, well, you don't spend the money, you're just a fan. Well, I've been there. Yeah. I've been the guy that's knocked the clip off in the heat race, and I've done all that. And still to this day, I enjoyed. I won quite a bit of races, but I enjoyed starting in the back. I enjoyed, I enjoyed passing cars.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's just one of those.
I did too. At the Drome, you it's hard to pass cars at the Drome, so you have to make your way through there, and you don't always make it to the front. So,
so that's just one of those things. Guys, let's just do ourselves a favor, and remember why we're there. We're there to put on a show. We're not, this is not the end of the world. When I got news for you, when you're done racing, you're gonna hate to hear this, but. All you're going to have is the memories and some plastic trophies.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the only thing that comes from it. For guys that's done it for a long time. So cherish the memories. Make the memories. Quit bitching. Enjoy your time at the racetrack.
Yeah.
All right. Enough of that. No more on that. So we're gonna talk about somebody who did enjoy his time at the racetrack. Frank Flood is a bad mofo. So Keith Coons Give Back Classic. They end up with 95 non-wing micros.
Yeah.
The winner can choose a Keith Coons ride or $10,000. It was at Port City Raceway this year. They do a couple, sometimes at Park Plaza. They've done them at Millbridge.
Yeah.
First off, they don't do them at no terrible racetracks.
Right.
They're all badass.
Yeah.
But doing it in Frank Flood's backyard, it doesn't matter who's there. Kata McIntosh. There's multiple midget and sprint car drivers run this event.
Right. Yeah.
And Frank Flood said, "Boys, welcome to Port City. This is where I cash checks every week, and thank you guys for coming." Friday night's preliminary night, destroyed the field. That was win number 29 on the season.
Wow.
Saturday nights, he ran Thursday night. It was split field. He ran Thursday night. Saturday night, he takes the win. Win number 30 on the season. I think 26 of them's been in micros and 4 in sprint cars.
Yeah.
So win number 30 of the year. And this is what I like about it. He said, Keith Coons has great stuff, but I'm in a great situation, and I have a great car owner for the Chili Bowl.
Yeah.
I'm going to take the money.
Yeah.
So he took the $10,000.
That's pretty cool.
Turned down the ride, but but what I did like about him, he said, maybe Keith will let me come tag along and do some work on the cars.
Yeah.
So he's willing to learn.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Frank Flood, the GOAT of micro racing in the state of Oklahoma, or as our buddy Board would say, Oklahoma.
Yeah.
In that state, he did Frank Flood things, so I had to bring that to attention. Lincoln Park Speedway Flash. Did you get to catch any of this Friday?
I got to watch the highlights. That's all I got to watch.
Well,
that was pretty cool.
There was plenty of them.
Yeah.
There was definitely plenty of them.
Yeah.
So they had 32 cars signed in. First off, qualifying at Lincoln Park, actually qualifying any sprint cars.
Yeah.
Especially if the track's juiced up and as they're qualifying right now on the track right now for the World Outlaws at Angel Park, Sun Prairie, Wisconsin.
Yeah.
But qualifying at any track is badass when you watch a sprint car, especially when there's a cushion.
Yeah.
And especially when Corey Eliason bangs the right rear off the cushion and wheelies all the way down the front stretch.
Yeah.
That right there was worth the $30 price of admission. Or
it wasn't a little wheel either. He was looking at the sky.
Yeah. That was worth price of admission. This is also worth price of admission because we've been to Lincoln Park Speedway.
Yeah.
10.70 new track record by Buddy Kofoid.
That's fast.
That is ungodly fast.
Yeah, because that place has pretty long straightaways. It's not a little track.
It's a tight. It's a tight track, but it's not. It's not a small track.
Right. Yeah.
But they said where they measured the track, they said it was right at a quarter mile.
Yeah.
But it's I think it's listed as a 5/16 around the top. So,
yeah.
But the way that place is, if it's 5/16 around the top, it's probably a fifth mile around the bottom, and that's why it races so good.
Right. Yeah.
It's got tight straightaways and wide turns with monster cushions. That's cut in. See what they did there? They manufactured the racing with cutting the cushion in.
The cushion in, yeah.
So
they did, and it makes great racing.
And it makes for great racing.
And it does for sprint cars or midgets up there. It's pretty awesome.
Our bombers are
or late models.
Modified. Yes, we was there when Don O'Neill went for a ride that night.
Yeah.
I think
Summer Nationals race.
I think that was the last time. One of the last times he was in a rate run car.
I think it was
because he went to the Masterbuilt house car right after that.
Yep, I believe he did.
Yeah. So that was a. But yes, Lincoln Park Speedway. David Gravel took the win over Carson Macedo. Macedo started 9th and ran 2nd. And started 10th and ran 2nd. Bill Baylog ran 3rd. Gravel started on the pole, but Buddy Kofoid started 4th. And we just watched a little highlight clip right before we got started here. And Buddy said that, he thought he gave Gravel enough room to know he was up there. Gravel said he didn't know he was up there. I don't know how he didn't know he was up there.
Yeah.
But neither one of them sounded too mad, so they handled it a lot better than. That's why I said they're kind of professionals.
Right.
They handled it a lot better than I would have.
Yeah, because when I got run up the track like that, I'd have been a little more upset than Buddy was.
Yeah, Buddy wasn't a. So evidently, Buddy must have not really expected it because you don't want to.
Yeah.
You don't get fed a right rear coming to the checker for the win.
Right.
I thought they were going to go back a lap. But they didn't because the leader took the. But I always thought it was a leader plus 3 had to take the.
That's what I thought too. But
the leader plus, I guess if Gravel's the leader, it's the leader.
Yeah.
But yeah, David Gravel took the win, but neither guys was too upset. So
yeah,
so be it. Wasn't the end of the world.
Well, when you race 100 nights a year, you just kind of go on to the next one.
Yeah, well,
sometimes.
well, and well, here's the thing. So they hauled ass to Illinois, and two guys. First off, Sheldon Hodenschild, after they fired his crew chief, I guess he's just going to show everybody in the world that he might be the craziest sprint car driver in the country.
Yeah.
But then he wrecked in qualifying. But he's not taking anything lightly. He's still he's not mailing nothing in. He's still racing. And somebody said, well, I mean, why is he still running so hard? And I said, well, racers just race.
Yeah.
You race for a living. You're racing for your livelihood.
Yeah.
You don't care if they got 6 races left. He's not mailing it in. There's 6 chances. He's got a chance to make more money.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, Sheldon Hodenschild had a nasty one. But overall, really good show. Timely matter. But Dr. Pat Sullivan was on the call on the Bombers.
Oh yeah.
And Pat Sullivan said something that every series, every racetrack needs to announce in some way, or just go back and hit record and play it over your PA.
Yeah.
But he said, we know why everybody's here. They had a huge crowd. I mean,
yeah,
World of Outlaw crowd. People sitting everywhere. And they ran the Bomber feature first.
Oh yeah.
Because they only had 2 heats, so they had 20 bombers. So they had 2 heats. So they ran all the sprint car stuff, the 2 bomber heats, the sprint car dash and B, then the bomber feature, then the sprint car remake. So Pat Sullivan said, "Yeah,
wait a minute, they put 10 cars in each heat race."
It's crazy. You're not gonna.
I'm just trying to get you started.
Yeah, don't. Yes, yeah. It's damnedest thing. They had 10 cars in a heat.
Yeah,
in an 8-lap heat.
Yeah,
on a small quarter-mile racetrack.
Right. Yeah.
So it's crazy. And guess what they didn't do?
They didn't wreck.
They didn't wreck.
Yeah.
Oh, and guess what they didn't do? They didn't qualify.
Yeah.
They just field drawed. Go figure.
Yeah.
So it's not. Flash is trying to get me cuss somebody out today.
Yeah.
So wait till we get to our story where we was at.
Yeah.
So Pat Sullivan said before the race starts, he goes, I mean, it's obvious why everybody's here. We know why everybody's here. Don't run off and go outside and have your cold beverage. Sit here, enjoy these guys, because they don't get to race in front of a crowd like this all the time.
Yeah.
And these guys are the backbone of short track racing. They spend their every hard-earned dollar they make. They're in the garage. They work 9 to 5, and then they come home and then work in the shop all night. So give these guys the same respect as you would the sprint car guys. And then after the race, I even seen some guys stand up and give a standing ovation.
Yeah.
So
that's pretty cool.
But yes, but Pat Sullivan always keeping it real. So it was good to hear Johnny Gibson and Pat Sullivan on. Friday night was one of those nights, man. I had all the TVs going. I had a tablet going. I was gonna go to the races, but I knew we had a long weekend ahead of us, and
right.
I had some stuff I had to get done, podcast wise. So I was like, I better not, because I don't want. Because I knew I was going to be in late today.
Yeah.
As we're later in the evening.
Yeah.
I kind of knew how that was going to be, so I wanted to try to get as much done as possible. So we pull back the curtains here just a little bit. That seems to be a common thing now. Everybody's pulling back the curtains. Yep. Curtains are flying off the handles left and right.
Yeah.
They're pulled back so damn much you don't even know what's going on.
Right.
But yeah, that's what went on at Lincoln Park. Time for the DTWC, and we're gonna segue this into our past guests, because quite frankly they almost won everything there.
Yeah.
Dirt Track World Championship, they got some major news, kind of.
Oh yeah.
I mean, everybody kind of already knew when Eldora put the schedule out that it wasn't on there.
Yeah.
That
it just wasn't announced yet.
Yeah, it was going somewhere.
Yeah.
And I think the reason why they did that was because they wanted to get people talking, get buzz. So the Dirt Track World Championship is going back to West Virginia Motor Speedway. First off, kudos to them.
Yeah.
It needs to be there. Every major event doesn't need to be at Eldora.
Right.
As much as I love Eldora, as much as you love Eldora, Royce made his first trip to Eldora this week.
Yeah.
Had a good time. I talked to him about that. But as much as we love Eldora, I mean, let's let some other tracks. There are some other tracks that are well deserving.
Oh yeah.
I mean, so that's number one. But did you see that it's still part of the championship, but it's not going to be the ending? So the ending's still going to be at Eldora.
Oh yeah.
They're just going to have a 2-night show for the chase for the
for
the chase. So basically, what I'm taking it is Carl Short's like, I'm moving the Dirt Track World Championship back to West Virginia.
Yeah.
Eldora's like, great. Big River Steel, Kubota, Lucas Oil, all of them guys were like, yeah, but we're having the final here at Eldora because all the amenities.
Oh, okay.
So that's the way I took it. I could be totally wrong.
Yeah.
But guess what? It's still in and at Eldora.
Yeah.
So that's
so they're just going to run another race after that.
Yeah. So
Gotcha.
The schedules is being moved around, but there is still the Final Four tracks. Brownstown's still going to be in it. Pittsburgh's still going to be in it. And then West Virginia, and then Eldora.
Oh, okay.
So that's how I took the press release.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I could be totally wrong, but that's what it looked like to me.
Yeah.
It looked like Carl Short's like, this is my damn race, and I'm moving it. And Eldora's like, that's fine, but we're still having the final.
Yeah.
So you move it to whenever you want, but this is our weekend. So
yeah.
No, maybe just maybe we talking about maybe the Fall Nationals was coming back.
Right.
Well, that weekend's coming back.
Yeah.
But it's not going to be the Fall Nationals. It's going to be the Lucas Oil deal.
Yeah.
With that being said, I'm going to just go on a limb and say there's a pretty good chance there's going to be a big UMP modified race that weekend as well.
Kind of hope they bring the steel block late models back too.
Yeah, but
they might go to.
That's not going to happen. That's going to go to West Virginia.
Yeah, West Virginia.
Because it's always been part of the West. I mean,
right.
I'm not saying they're not going to bring them back, but
yeah,
they're not going to go to. Everybody's not going to travel to West Virginia this weekend, and then the very next weekend. It's just not
feasible for them. Most of them guys,
So
a lot of those guys are just regular guys. They're not the big high dollar teams like.
They're just dudes like me and you, dumb enough to try it again.
They can't get off for a couple extra days.
Yeah, twice.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I need off next week too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't work that way. So we'll start with the Lucas Oil deal. We had two champions crowned this weekend. First off, the Lucas Oil Late Model Series, Devin Moran took the championship.
Yeah.
He was leading going in. But it was basically whoever finished in front, him or RTJ. And RTJ, the Cusheth giveth, the Cusheth taketh away.
Yep.
But what sucks for RTJ is, though, that's 2 years in a row. If we had the old points, he would have been champion.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, well
not 2
years.
in a row, but
yeah, two
times.
He would have been a 3-time defending champion.
Yeah.
Consecutive.
Exactly.
So that sucks. We got a chase format, and, I don't know. We're not even gonna get started on that because you're already trying to get me on the 10-car E races and the pill draws. We're not going to talk about the chase stuff. So it's their money, their decision. They do it the hell they want.
Yeah.
If the drivers are still racing, have at it.
Yep.
But I did see where there's some rumblings. Jonathan Davenport got slapped on the wrist because he didn't make the Final Four press conference.
Oh, okay.
He had his son had a game and he decided to come in late. He basically said, screw you guys, I'm going to do what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
And they said, that's part of the contract. And he's like, it's the last race. So be it. What are you going to do? Not give me my tow money next year?
Yeah.
So, Davenport pulled okay, whatever.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of rumors out there that Davenport's going to go Dale McDowell pick and choose next year.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Davenport.
Run the big races.
Well, yeah. That and he don't really like, going to Knoxville and Fairbury.
Yeah.
Stuff.
All those cool places.
Yeah, he don't like doing cool shit. Superman, he's getting old there. So.
Yeah.
This week's Slaughter of the Week being brought to you by Walt at Speed Decals is former guest, the smooth operator Bobby Pierce. Bobby Pierce started 13th and took the win at the DTWC, the Dirt Track World Championship. $100,000 to win for the smooth operator. So just last week, there was some internet fluff that Bobby Pierce has somehow forgot to drive a race car.
Yeah.
He's terrible now. How come Bobby Pierce isn't winning? I mean, it's only like his 29th win of the year.
That was his 30th.
That was his 30th?
Yep,
Okay.
that was 30.
So it's his 30th win of the year. And the last 2 weeks, he got penalized for making an air pressure adjustment on a rubber down racetrack.
Right.
Probably would have won that one.
Yeah.
And then, bounced it off the wall in the last lap. Had a real good chance of winning that one. So it could have been 32.
Yeah.
But yeah, Bobby Pierce, guys, just because he's not going to win every week. He is human.
Yeah.
I mean, he is human. I don't know how much human he is, but he is human. But yeah, Bobby Pierce took the win over Chris Madden and Brandon Shepard. And I said RTJ got over the fluff, got in the wall.
Yeah.
And sucks for RTJ, but really kind of sucks for Davenport too.
Yeah, because Davenport got into him. Tore the whole right rear quarter off. And
see, Davenport needed RTJ to have a bad run.
Yeah.
And then he also needed Moran to have a bad run, and Moran was like, "Screw you guys.
Yeah.
I'm going to run about right in front of you guys.
Yeah.
I'm not going for the win. I don't care about that 100,000. I'm here to get the 250."
Yeah.
So,
I thought it was funny too. The announcers were going. I forget who it was. I don't know if it was. I couldn't tell you which one it was. I can't remember. They said, "So man, his crew doesn't have no way of telling him that Davenport and RTJ's got problems." And I said, "No, all you gotta do is look at the Jumbotron because they got them on there where they're working on their car while you're driving behind the yellow flag."
Oh, speaking of working on the car, did you see the car fall off the jack on the crew of RTJ?
No.
Dude was under the right front, smoked him.
Oh man.
They raised the car up off of him, and he crawled out. So
Was that when they was changing the A-frame on the front? Yeah.
So I'm thinking it was just the nose or something, and but it looked really bad when it happened. I was like, ooh. Yeah. So fun fact about this was, so last night we're at the racetrack, and we're gonna get into that here in a second. But we're at the racetrack, and we have I don't know if they want the number out, but I counted 79 people on the front stretch.
Yeah.
I think there was about 115 to the people to the right, but 79 people in the bleachers. And I said, we've got results from the Dirt Track World Championship if you guys want to know. By a round of applause, show us if you want to know. And this one guy stood up and clapped. And I did the old major league line. I said, "Bryan, the crowd's going wild, so we're going to let them have it." So I let them know, and then we had about 3 or 4 clap. But that's just a funny story, though. So the Moran did what he had to do to win championship. Hats off to Moran. I hate the chase format, but it is what it is. Eldora, the crowd was down this weekend though. And I think that has a lot to do with back-to-back weekends.
Yeah, I think so too. I think a lot of people can't go like that. It costs a little bit to go places like that.
So we're gonna segue that into our past guests and their major accomplishments this weekend. Of course, Bobby Pierce won the Dirt Track World Championship. Kyle Cummins, we'll already talk about this, but he picked up the win at Dodge City Raceway.
He ain't slowed down none since he won the championship, since he locked it up.
He wasn't going to.
No.
Charlie Medford, our buddy's been having a little rough go here lately.
Yeah.
Made some extra money, picked up the $5,000 to win modified payday.
Yeah, I was happy to see that.
So help out with some of his lawyer fees and stuff. Yeah. So Charlie Medford picked up the win. Brian Barber picked up the win at Ponderosa Speedway. And Blake Brown picked up the win at Thunder Mountain, and the car he's taken to the Dome. They did some testing, and all is right in the world. Blake Brown won in another Lightning again.
Yeah.
It's like it's 10 years ago again. So
we drove right around Blake Brown's house the other day, heading down to the Cumberland Falls.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
So that was our previous guest, and they all had big weekends this weekend. And our previous guest, Trey Osborne, packed up everything he had, threw it in the truck, and decided, you know what, we're going racing, boys.
Yeah.
His exact words to me was, well, it took all the money I had. So he bought a new engine, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if you know this, but he had 2 broken valve springs in the engine when he got home.
I've seen that, yeah.
Okay. So what money he had saved up to go west, he obviously had to fix the engine.
Yeah.
Bernie and a few guys up there, they pushed him to the front of the line, got his stuff fixed. So he called me, and he sent me a Snapchat, and he's on the road, and and we talk back and forth, and he goes, "Yep, here I am again, not making very good financial decisions, but I'm going west on a credit card." Buddy ran top 10 first night, so it paid for his trip.
Yeah.
Until the second night.
Yeah.
Now he's got some tore up shit, but it didn't cost him no more money.
Right.
Just parts. So I think him and Saban Byman are trying to take their 2 cars and make it out west.
I seen Saban's post. He said, well, we're going to take all of our parts together and see if we can get to the next race.
Yeah, see if we can get to the next race. So, but
those guys are just living the dream right there.
Yeah, they're racers race.
Yeah.
And those boys, what's cool is they grew up together.
Yeah.
A lot of people, when you go back and listen to that Trey Osborne interview, him and Saban Byman, they were running the streets together.
Yeah.
And we'll say it that way. That's the nicest we can say it.
Right, yeah.
Maybe there's some police involved, maybe not, but they were still running the streets.
Yeah.
But Kyle Cummins took the win at Dodge City. And then Saturday night, Jake Swanson took the win at the Route 66 Raceway in Texas. Dodge City, it's big. I mean, it's
huge.
It's probably not really a non-wing track, just going to be honest.
Yeah.
But the Route 66 Raceway was badass. It's that's a to-go-to place. It raced really good. So looking forward to that. Our DO Handyman Crash of the Week. We have multiple nominees for this, but we're going to give it to the USAC Sprint Car A Main on lap number 1.
Yeah, on the start.
Yeah, the Route 66 Raceway. 10-car pileup. 5 of them got upside down.
Yeah, that was crazy.
And there's a lot of people pissed off at Wyatt Burks. Wyatt Burks got the right rear sidestepped a little bit, got in the front stretch wall, stacked them up, and damn did they go. Bryan Hulbert said, another great line, we got them pogoing everywhere.
Yeah,
So,
and they were too.
yeah, cars going every which way. Yeah. So that was what went on there. And hats off to Rico Abreu.
Yeah.
For becoming the second ever high limit sprint car champion. I didn't get to see none of this, but I did what every other show in America does. I looked at my race pass, and he slept the weekend this weekend. So he wasn't gonna let anybody have a shot. I'm gonna go out and win the damn races. If I win the last 10 races,
I win them, they can't beat me.
Yeah, they cannot beat me.
So that's what he did.
And then last but not least, we'll get off here and listen to Bryan. But our trip down to the I75 Raceway for the Amercian Allstars Pro Late models, as I told Joseph, we will call them Pro Late models because we like him.
Yeah.
But the Pro Late model factory was the General Motors 604 people there doing the tech.
Yeah.
So however you want to call it, Joseph.
Yeah.
Call it what you want, but I know the 604 GM people were there actually doing the damn work. That's something that me and Joseph are always going to go back and forth about that.
Yeah.
Just call them what they are. And so they had 22 Pro/crate late models.
Yeah.
And then the Cumberland Plateau Mod Minis.
That was a good race too.
That was a damn good race.
Yeah.
The Cumberland Plateau Mod Minis, we had 15 of them sign in, and was a good race as well.
Yeah, people don't realize what they were missing down there.
Yeah, and there was a lot of people that missed.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Because there was maybe between the front stretch and back, they got tier parking. There may have been 300 people in the stands. And that might be to the heavy side.
Yeah.
It may have been 217. But
man, they ran the show through good last night and everything. I was impressed.
Yeah, they do a good job there. It's my second time in this configuration.
Right.
And last time I was down there, it was the same way. Boom, boom, boom. Once they start, there's no need for track prep because they do it all beforehand and they got it right.
Yeah.
It's but the Amercian All-Star Late Model Series, William Blankenship started outside pole, took the lead on about the Monster Mash 40, so it was close to the lap 20.
Yeah.
Give or take. But he took the lead. Trevor Sykes ran second. Tyler Arrington ran third. Arrington was leading the way. He's from Virginia, and he doesn't really run those East Tennessee tracks.
Yeah.
And when you're leading, you're just in a bad spot.
You don't
really know where to run because you're leading.
And
so
Blankenship never really let him know where he was till he decided he was going to drive around him.
Yeah. So, and I don't know. I didn't ask Joseph, but they didn't have nobody in the infield, so I guess there's no sticks in the Amercian All-Star Series.
I seen one person down there with sticks. I only seen one. They had 2 pink light-up sticks down there. That's the only person I seen with sticks.
Was that during the Amercian All-Star race, or was that during the B Sportsman race?
It may have been during the Sportsman race. I don't know. That's the only person I seen all night with sticks.
Yeah. So
I don't know.
Yeah, but I like it because you don't know where the guy is, and because if he did have sticks, we wouldn't have had this finish.
Right. Because
he could have just moved up, took the line away, and have been over.
Exactly.
But as they caught traffic, Blankenship got around him on the outside. Trevor Sykes, Sykes ran really good, but I want to give a shout out to Reed Hatchett. I think he started 18th and ran 4th.
Yeah.
He started 18th because he had the wrong tire on in qualifying. This is American Racer Series. He had American Racer tire on, but he had the soft compound. So he had the American Racer tire on that because he only runs with the series a couple times.
Yeah.
But he bolted the wrong damn tire on, qualified, time got disallowed, had to start on the tail.
Yeah. That was the 102 car?
Yes.
Yeah.
And what I like about it was he had to start the tail regardless of the feature.
Yeah.
So he just ran the wrong damn tires.
Right, yeah.
Which he would have had to start on the tail of the B main because of the way the rule book is, but it was his lucky night because there was no B main that night.
Yeah.
But made a good run. Pretty sure it was an honest mistake. Wasn't doing anything malicious. But,
Yeah.
it is what it is.
Fast he wasn't the feature. I don't think he was trying to.
No, he's either that or really pissed off, one or the other.
Right.
And then Cumberland Plateau Mod Minis, 15 cars. For people in our area that don't really know, and you say Mod Mini, they're like super mini stocks.
Yeah.
Mini late models that you used to run at Thunder Valley.
Yeah, something like that.
We're going to talk about in upcoming events. But the mini late models, and Andy Stanbridge took the win over Michael Courtney and Nathan Davis. Michael Courtney missed hot laps because his kid had a baseball game. So he gets there in qualifying, header breaks off.
Yeah.
So he starts like 5th or 6th, one of the top runners in the series. He qualified good enough to not start in the back, but not good enough to start up front. Had to work his way up. Laying back, young man that's got a modified this year, and he's going to do some modified racing next year. I think he might be 17 years old, out of Mount Sterling, Kentucky. Took the lead and was kind of checked out and just spun out by himself.
Yep.
So he had to go to the tail. And when he did, Andy Stanbridge, Michael Courtney, and Nathan Davis had an absolute dogfight for the last 7 laps. The last 2 laps, they ran 3 wide.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like they ran 3 wide in slot car style.
No.
They were like diving on each other, crossing lanes.
Yeah, it was good.
I honestly thought Nathan Davis was going to sneak in there and get him the win.
There was 8 or 9 cars there that was right there together again, too. It was good.
Yeah, it was a really good race. It was by far the best mini stock race I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And it's I guarantee it's the best mini stock race in the history of I-75 Speedway or I-75 Raceway that nobody's seen.
Right.
Because there was nobody there. So that's just very unfortunate. Joseph and Ray Cook and Matt and them, they you win some, you lose some.
Yeah.
And that one there was
probably a loss.
You're being nice. Yeah, it was definitely a loss. It was probably a big loss.
Yeah.
But it just is like that sometimes.
Yeah.
So we're going to get off here and listen to the voice of the United States Auto Club, former voice of the American Sprint Car Series, and the guy that just keeps everything corralled at the Chili Bowl at Expo Raceway, Bryan Hulbert, for this week's Trading Sliders Deep Dives. It's time for the Trading Sliders Deep Dives presented by Kentucky Clutch and Performance.
They have big hearts and a whole lot of horsepower. Brave souls and the will to win. Any night of the week, they are still the local heroes. And they live for the sound of thunder.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. On this week's Trading Slider Deep Dive, we have the voice of United States Auto Club, and a lot of people think that's your only job. That's just one of many. Bryan Hulbert, thanks for coming on, man.
Thank you for having me on. Hulbert, by the way.
Hulbert.
Yeah.
It's not. See, I've been screwing at it for a year. So, talking about editing, I can go back and fix that. But I've been screwing at it for about 5 years. So,
at quick glance, a lot of people do that, and it's just, it is what it is. It's part of it.
Yeah, but the voice of the United States Auto Club, to a lot of us, you're living the dream, traveling the road, getting to see, first off, badass racetracks. We're sitting at one of the, nicest facilities in the country, but you get to see a lot of stuff, you get to experience a lot, but as you're doing that, it's at a cost because your travel is astronomical. Talk about the logistics for you on a normal race weekend.
It's not astronomical. Luckily, with the way the USAC schedule works, I'm, for the most part, able to leave Thursday, be back Sunday. I mean, there's times, where I'm out for a couple weeks. Obviously, the start of the season, going down to Florida, I'm gone for about a week and a half there. Midget week in the Eastern Storm, Sprint week, and really the only other main where I know I'm going to be on the road for a couple weeks is, November when we go out to California. But otherwise, it's really not bad. I'm very fortunate that my wife works in education and is able to have that flexibility during the summer to, allow me to go to and from, and obviously still living in Oklahoma, north of Tulsa, and being able to, have my job there with with the shootout and the Chili Bowl and Tulsa Expo Raceway and still be able to do this. I mean, if it wasn't for, you know, obviously my wife working with me to do this and to be able to make a living doing what I absolutely love, and then also with Emmett Hahn and his family, you know, being very supportive of like, hey, you know, you need to go racing, so, you know, go ahead.
Well, that's what I was going to get to, because you're, you know, forever you've been the voice of the Chili Bowl, but you know that's not your main job. You actually kind of pretty much, I want to say run the whole thing, but you make it all come together. How much work is that throughout the year?
Oh, I'm far from running anything or making anything come together. I'm a glorified grunt. Pretty much in the office, whatever we need to do, whether it's helping with ticketing. Obviously, I'm on the PR side. I handle the press releases. I handle results. I handle stats. A lot of history. I work with, you know, Lynn and Lonnie and all them to, you know, get all that put together. And it's pretty much, if we're not doing any of that, then it's okay, what do we need to do around the office? Do we need to clean? Do we need to do this? Does Emmett need some help with something? So, you know, there's times in the year where, yeah, it kind of slows down, and that also kind of works in my favor, especially once we get done with tickets and we're getting all that done. You know, that side, when it comes to, you know, filling the main orders, that's Matt and Ashley Ward. They're able to handle that side. I work on taking orders, and then when tickets come back, I will call and let people know, hey, we have your tickets. They were returned, whether we had a bad address or...
your post office screwed up.
Speaking of which, just had to leave a message with your wife about that.
Yeah.
And I'm shocked they actually made it back to us. You know, fortunate in that. And I mean, if Donna needs help, because I was originally hired really to be the assistant for Donna Hahn Harris, who that is Emmett's daughter, and she actually is like the VP. She runs the office and very much coordinates everything. If you've ever been through the trade show at Shootout and Chili Bowl, that's all Donna. Yeah. And it's kind of more from there, and, you know, hired on originally to work, obviously, you know, Shootout and Chili Bowl and then the American Sprint Car Series at the time. And I was announcing for that, and at that time, Lonnie Wheatley had stepped away. Right after I got hired and we got through Shootout and Chili Bowl, he wanted to do something else, and I ended up taking over the PR role. And at the time, it was, well, you know, go ahead and do it, and we'll see if we can find somebody. And here we are.
You're still doing it.
That was in 2012, and I was still doing all of it up until last year when World Racing Group stepped in and they bought the American Sprint Car Series, and took a step back from that. And obviously, when this became available, was very fortunate to come on board with the United States Auto Club. But I still work with them. I do all their regional coverage, so I'm certainly no longer involved on the national scene, but I still do a lot of stuff with the regional tours.
And one thing that I like about your announcing style, you're the king of one-liners. You throw in just subtle little one-liners, but it's not like it's predetermined, or you're like, all right, I'm going to say this. You know, as being an announcer myself, I know how hard it is to pay attention to everything. Scoring, you got so much going on, but it's like, it's just natural. You know, something, you know, goes like just last night alone, you know, you said the DRC went to a Schwinn.
Went from a sprint car to a Schwinn real quick.
Yeah, like, how do you come up with that just on the fly? Because it's so organic.
You can thank my parents for that. I grew up working in the shop with my parents. That's what they do for a living. My dad was a mechanic and opened his garage in 81, 82 with my mom, and that's what they've done to this day. And I guarantee you cannot say anything that will offend me growing up around mechanics my entire life. So, but that's where a lot of that comes from.
You've obviously never held the flashlight wrong for your dad. If what I said offended you, you never.
Oh, yeah.
So when you say, you know, you worked at you was at the shop, not to cut you off, but I know exactly where you're coming from for that, because you know, and come to find out, it wasn't the flashlight, you know, that I was holding wrong. He couldn't get his arm up in there anyways. I just happened to be the one to get it. So,
well, I mean, it's growing up in that environment. I always joke and say my mom taught me how to cuss. If my mom ever drops an F-bomb, you've really done something wrong. And I just grew up in that, and you know, you hear one-liners your whole life, and there's ones obviously you could never say on mic, and you know, I go back to when I first started doing this and talking to Alan Moore, who was the announcer at Southern New Mexico Speedway when I was growing up, and he was like my announcing idol, and he's the one that really got me interested in this. The man can make two flies on a windowsill sound amazingly exciting, and the only thing he told me is tell the folks what they're looking at. There's no sense in making it up. They've got eyes, and if it's exciting, be excited. And his last bit of information was find all the different ways you can say how something's going on.
Yeah.
So instead of just saying run to the bottom, run to the bottom, run to the bottom, how many different ways can you say they're running the bottom, or how many different ways can you say they're running the top, or how many different ways can you describe a slide job or a flip or something like that, just to, one, make yourself more rounded as a commentator, and then two, make it more interesting for the people that can hear you.
Yeah, that's great advice. And one thing that I really like about you is I don't know where this came from, and maybe from your upbringing too, from always being around people. But when you have a guest commentator, or you go on the road and Pat Sullivan's with you, or like whoever steps in the booth with you, you're pretty good at, like, not pretty good, really good at just bouncing off the person you're working with, because, like I said, I've done this, and that's really hard to do, to get the timing down, to let when they're going down the backstretch, they're going to turn it over to you. Like, you're really good at picking up where they left off and bouncing off people, and that's extremely tough to do.
Cadence.
Yeah.
So not only do I have a mechanical background and working in the shop and doing that side, I have a musical background. Classically trained violinist for many years, violist, dabbled in cello and bass. So I look at what I do the same way I look at a score, at a piece of music, and following cadence and the crescendo and the decrescendo and the tempo and everything of it. And one thing that I do when I start getting, if it's a really, really exciting race and I'm trying to keep myself from just running away, I'll start conducting a beat. And I'll actually, depending on the size of the track and what's going on, I'll either do a waltz, which is a 3-beat, or I'll do a 4-beat. And I'll actually do that to slow myself down.
Yeah. Because as announcing, that's something that I really have a problem with. I'm good at calling what I see, but when you can tell it's escalating, like, I'm really, like I'm not real sharp at, all right, let's just let it happen, because I'm already like kind of wanting it to happen, So,
well, and that goes back to, just describe what's going on, and if you can see it, you just kind of keep, kind of referencing, okay, they're gaining here, they're doing this, they're changing their line, and there's all the ways to do it. And because of that, going back to your original question, because of that cadence and following kind of a music mentality of it, I listen to how their voice is going up or down, and when they come to a natural pause, that's when I'll take over. Either that, if it's one of those, I can also say, hey, when you're done, because I use a handheld mic, I'm not a big fan of using headsets, I'll flip the mic forward, and that's my cue to go.
Yeah. Well, and I'm the same way. I'm a handheld guy too, the exact same way. The very first race that I did, I actually had a headset, and I couldn't, like, I was all out of whack. I'm like, because, like I said, I coach, so I've had speaking events where I've had the microphone in my hand, and I'm just kind of like, what am I going to do here?
Well, my biggest problem is I'm too stupid to hit the mute button.
Yeah. Well,
and not only that, one of the problems you have when you're in a booth, and this is a fairly good sized booth, but there's still maybe 7 feet, 6 feet, if that, between me and the competition director. He's trying to talk on a receiver. He has to talk loud so the drivers can hear him. It bleeds over into the mic, where if I've got the switch right here in my hand, I can shut it off real quick if he's having to, really get on a driver or do something like that, or scoring's really having to speak loud. There's conversations going on with the headset. It picks up so much ambient and so much background, and I've tried 2 or 3 different styles, whether it's the Super Cordiate or the Cordiate mic, and they all just pick up so much in the background. I've gotten away from them.
Well, and it's funny that you said that, because that was my first problem, was I can't hear what's going on outside, because I found myself like, taking your headset off.
I do that too.
Yeah, I couldn't hear what was going on, and I was like, I don't know if I can do this.
So what I have is I have my mics, but I have headphones, and I'll keep one ear off, so I can wear an earpiece so I can talk to the broadcast, and I communicate to Drake or Christy down to the infield. I can communicate to my producer, and they can talk back to me. And then also, so it's not an in-ear, it's an on-ear earpiece, so I can still hear what's going on around me. So if Kirk needs to get my attention, or Richie needs to get my attention, or Jake or anybody else, I can still hear them.
Yeah, the people that's not on this side of the business, because streaming is, and we're going to talk about streaming, but streaming is, the announcer at the racetrack is different than a TV broadcast, and you've got to kind of do both, because we have 4,000, 5,000 people at the racetrack, so obviously you need to attend to them, and then the announcing on TV, what you're trying to get out to people, that they don't care if you're selling 50-50 tickets, they just want to know what's going on. How tough is it for you, or is it in such a smooth transition where you've done it on streaming so long now? How tough was it to go from announcing at the racetrack to, all right, I'm announcing to everybody now?
It really wasn't, because about the third or fourth year I was announcing, I actually started doing my own audio broadcast from Southern New Mexico Speedway and El Paso Speedway Park, and I was doing strictly audio. There was no video, so I approached it as you would a radio broadcast. You have to be very descriptive in what you're talking about, and you have to really explain and paint that picture. And it's just a balancing, and I realized real quick, I can't cater to one over the other. I do have to appease the broadcast. I have to make sure I cover the broadcast, but I try to tie it and make sure that it covers the people in the stands as well, because the people in the stands, these are the ones that have paid to be here. So yes, they do get priority, and this is the fan base I'm talking to, but I also have to remember, I have to make sure that broadcast is taken care of as well. So it is a balancing act, and there's times where, you have to do one over the other depending on what's going on. Like when I'm doing, hey, go sign up to be tonight's AMSOIL inside the oval. Well, obviously that's to the house. Or if I'm, like you said, 50-50 tickets, or if I'm talking about, hey, we're at Lawrenceburg, they've got another race coming up next week, hey, Chad, why don't you talk about that? Obviously, we're catering to the people here. We're trying to make sure we keep that relationship with the track and helping them keep their doors open. And, it's a balancing act, and really the ideal way to do it is just like we do at Expo. Flo has their own crew, they handle the broadcast, and then you have a crew that does the house, which during Chili Bowl is me, Bob Coven, Ward, and Scotty Cook last year. So in a perfect world, that's how you'd want to set it up. But obviously, the cost of doing that, having a completely different crew to do the broadcast and a completely different crew to do the house, the cost would just be astronomical.
Well, that, and you're on the road. Expo, everybody's coming there. It's a one-time event. But when you're on the road every single weekend like you guys are, the cost, you couldn't bring two crews to make this stuff happen. It's just almost, it's almost impossible to do. And I get that. And that's one thing I've been on record for saying, because I followed along, for people in the Midwest, you're relatively new because once you got the USAC job, but everybody that's gone to the Chili Bowl for years, as we have, and a lot of us, we were in touch with who you were and your style, and you're talking about the Amercian Sprint Car Series, and I've followed along, and I've been on record saying that, you're one of my favorite guys on the mic, and I like the way you talked about it, your description. You describe what's going on, but you do it in a way that, even if it's a bad race, you keep the people entertained. And I think you're 1A right now in the announcing world. All the announcers. I mean, we can go late model, modifieds, whatever. I think you are at the top of the game. And as far as just winging it, you're a guy that, when it comes to something happening, you just seems like your wing it factor is a lot better than your preparation, and that's not being a disrespect to your preparation.
No,
but you understand what I'm saying? Like, you can go off script more than, like, a lot of guys, when off script happens, it's chaos, and it seems like you thrive in that situation.
Is what it is. Not everything, and forget, there is no script in this.
Yeah.
I mean, things are going to happen. There's going to be times where maybe the local announcer doesn't show up. We end up having to cover the sport divisions, and that's when I feel like I can have fun, because I don't know these guys from Adam, and I'm just hoping that MRP or something has just a little bit of information I can give about this person, or they have a website that's been updated within the past 10 years, and I can have some fun with that. And I've had more fun doing support classes, and one story comes to mind where we were in Waukene, and they had the Crazy Cruisers. is me and Scotty Cook. We decided we're going to co-call this thing, and you want to talk about the most psychotic, off the wall, just dumbest stuff we've ever probably said on mic. But Scotty has that very, very thick Missouri accent, and the more we went, and the nuttier this race got, it just kept getting worse and worse and worse. And then eventually I started just going full country bumpkin on the whole thing. We've got a driver out there who's in the 666. Yeah. And Scotty, I mean, he's playing on that, I'm playing on that. He ends up ramping off the end of the racetrack, and Scotty's over there going, you know, down with Satan, Satan's falling, not today. And we're just, we couldn't see the crowd underneath us. We were on a covered grandstand, and it's this tin building that is basically, if they would have put us on a spit, it'd have been a rotisserie oven. Yeah. And apparently our officials down there, they said the crowd was just dying laughing. But that's things, I love stuff like that, where if I can make the crowd happy, if I can make somebody laugh, if they can enjoy what we're doing, then I'm doing my job. And that's half of my thing, is I want the crowd to be able to engage and have fun and cheer their drivers on. And I go back to, if I'm not excited about what I'm doing, then how am I going to convey the excitement to the people who are sitting in the stands? And trust me, I don't like listening to me either. I will watch a highlight, or I'll mute it. I can't stand listening to myself. So trust me, when I get internet hate and they're going, well, you suck, we mute it. Me too.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that. Yeah. But well, it's funny that you said that, because we get, we don't do the numbers you guys do, but our podcast is growing, and I usually get probably two hate mail a week. Your podcast is too drawn out. Get to the interview. Something. I get a couple a week, and I always tell them, I said, well, you can fast forward. Yeah. But I've learned that you can't answer. Like, I can't answer everybody, because I go full John Stambro on them.
You can't make everybody happy, but I can certainly piss them all off by breathing.
Yeah, we're in the same boat on that part, because that's what I had a guy once tell me, he goes, I listen every week and I can't stand you. And I said, well, I appreciate it.
Then
Next one will be out Monday. It's a...
Well... Then why are you still listening?
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
Like at that point, I hate to tell you, Princess, but you're a fan.
Yeah, you're here. I'll see you Monday. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, that's working at the local racetracks, and it's always you're this, you're that. I'll never race here again. All right, see you next week.
Yeah. We'll be back. I can't tell you. I did have one guy tell me though, because I started out racing, and I started on the pavement side and I switched over to dirt. And Mike Gibson at the Sportstrom Speedway.
That's called seeing the light right there.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Yes. Well, I got to see the light because one of the nicest racetracks in the country shut down in our backyard. And so that's when I go, I'm going to go run dirt. But, I was over there, and I told Mike Gibson, I said, I'm done. I'm not coming back. I'm going to run dirt. He said, all right, and I'll see you in a few weeks. And 12 years later, we ran into each other. He goes, you're the only person that told me that you're not coming back, and you didn't come back. And I told him, I hate to tell you, I didn't come back and race, but I've been to this place every year since I was born. I always come over once a year just to watch it, because I feel like I owe that to you. But he said, you're the only person that told me that you're not coming back out of everybody that says that, and you didn't come back and race. I said, well, I moved on. I went and did other stuff. I got to coach basketball. So, but it's funny. As you're on the road with United States Auto Club, when you guys go to Pennsylvania and you go to the predominantly, I screw up words. You go to where it's a wing country. Do you get flack, or do you get people come up and say, we really appreciate this? Because I see non-wing racing, to me, I think it's non-wing sprint car racing is the most exciting racing there is. I see it, it's weird to say it's growing, because they were the first people on TV with ESPN, but it is growing. The style is growing. How do you take the interception on the road?
Oh, they love it.
Yeah.
We go to Pennsylvania, for Eastern Storm. It's so much fun out there. The fans are fantastic. The promoters are great. The teams are awesome. Even, being here in the Midwest, outside of Indiana, it is predominantly, wing racing. And, that's what I spent my whole career up until this year, or until last year, calling. It was all wing racing, and I've always been a huge non-wing fan. So obviously when this opportunity came up, I was like, yeah, I mean, I love this stuff. But no, you're always going to get the elitist mentality of, it's got to be wing 410 or nothing. And it's like, no, like if we're going to be fans of sprint cars, let's be fans of sprint cars.
Yeah, let's be fans of passing and slide jobs. Let's be fans of that.
And that's my biggest thing is, like, I've watched plenty of wing races where it went great. They started first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth, and they finished. Yep.
Yeah, the exact same way.
You're locked down to the track so hard, and you take the wing off, and you really bring the driver and the setup and the whole package into play, and you really show the balance of the car and the balance of the driver. And then, of course, with these guys having the cockpit adjustments and their ability to reach up and say, hey, I'm going to take some out of the left, add to the right, do this, do that, and watch the car progress and get better. And Cummins talked about that when he won at Butler. He's like, yeah, I wasn't keeping up with the car, and he did, and boom, there was the win.
Yeah, that's one thing with me. I love non-wing sprint car racing. I just absolutely love it. And where you're from, did you realize that the Indiana tracks were as small as they were?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because I know doing the American sprint car stuff, you guys don't do a whole lot of quarter miles. They're all a little bit bigger tracks.
Quarter, mainly 3/8, a few half miles. And I love the small tracks, and there's very few big tracks that I look at and go, man, I really like that track. But, you go somewhere like Knoxville, it races really well. Williams Grove, in non-wing, actually races really, really well. Yep. And, of course, they've done a bunch of work out there. They've added a lot of material to it, and we saw during the National Open, it raced great. Yep. Sealands Grove's another one. Huge track. Actually, races pretty good. And that's one of those tracks. I'd love to see a Silver Crown show there.
Yes.
And I'd love to see Silver Crown at Knoxville. But you take that wing off, and those bigger tracks suddenly get really, really racy.
Yeah, that's one thing about Terre Haute. Like, in the last few years, Terre Haute went from almost unwatchable to must-see TV. Like, the track prep and the I don't know if they're doing something different with the dirt. I don't know, but Terre Haute, watching a sprint car go in turn one at Terre Haute is really scary.
Terre Haute's a whole new animal. The previous promoters were out at the end of last year. The Fair Association, the Fair Board, they've actually taken over the track this year. And anytime we have a show with USAC, Chris Kearns, his son Blade, they come in. And they're the ones doing the track. Tommy Estes comes in. He was in at the beginning of the year, and he was helping with that. And, of course, he's managing Honest Abe Roofing Lincoln Park Speedway now up there in Putnamville. And the track we had for the Holman was the best I've ever seen that racetrack. And that goes to the Kearns family, their work that they put in, the Fair Association, the work they're putting in that facility. Because not only have they really improved how they're doing the track, they've improved the sound system, they're working on other aspects and other infrastructure. They're bringing that track back in a really cool way, and it's great to see because, one, it's such a historic facility. Two, when it's right, it's right. Awesome.
Yes.
And we've had 2 shows this year that were that way that were just badass.
Yeah. You grew up in the wing world, and now you're doing USAC. What do you prefer? Do you enjoy the midgets? Do you enjoy the silver? We're a fan of all, but what's one thing when you look at the schedule and say, I'm really looking forward to that?
If it goes ud and I like it. Yeah. Sprint cars obviously is where my heart is. That's what I grew up with my family. We raced a lot, locally, nationally, and I spent more time working on cars and building cars than I ever did actually announcing them. So I feel like that gives me a little bit of insight into what the cars are doing and how they're doing things, and really thank my parents for allowing me to be a part of that process, because that's what to be able to look at a car and be able to say, okay, well, it's tied off the left rear, it's tied off the right rear, and be able to describe why and where that's happening. But obviously sprint cars, love midgets. I even like a good, USMTS modified race.
Yes.
So I don't really discriminate when it comes to racing. The Hornets last night put on a good show.
No.
Best race I've ever seen was 4 street stocks, and for the lead, they were 3 wide for 4 laps, racing for a trophy.
Yeah, that's where I am. obviously I'm a sprint car guy, but I'm a modified guy. I race modifieds. I announce for a modified series. I love late model. I mean, I like everything. And one thing about it is I try to tell everybody I've never been to the Tulsa shootout because it's back to back, and
Shame.
you only get so much vacation a year. Oh, I know. I'm so thankful that Flo covers it now, because you remember the old DVDs you guys sold of the shootout?
Oh yeah.
Well,
that was Blue Sky Productions.
Okay.
He's actually the guy that does all the in-house. Like, he runs the screens and does all that. And he would do that when, obviously, that was back when it was just Racing Boys audio.
Yes.
And then he was filming everything and then could package it and send it out. And of course, before that, Greg Stevens, who was pioneered everything that we do when it comes to broadcasting the sport. And he did, the first 25 Chili Bowls in a DVD set. And, now with Flo, the access and the insight and everything, especially during the shootout, just the marathon of micros is staggering. And to look at, one, the number of people who are watching that event, and two, the collective time, the hours
Yes.
that they're watching this event. I'm like, this is crazy.
Oh, I love it. I mean, that's one of those things I keep saying, like, I'm going to go, but with us doing speed weeks and we do the Chili Bowl, and I got to miss work for races. I'm like, I don't want to go and not have to go to the Chili Bowl that year. You know what I'm saying?
That's one of the neat things is my job is intertwined in all of it.
Yes.
I'm fortunate. I'm not working at a bus barn. I'm not working at the O'Reillys. I'm not, I don't have that day job. I've been able to take my hobby and turn it into my job, and I've never found another hobby.
Well, I wouldn't either. I wouldn't. Don't even attempt fishing. Don't take up crocheting. Don't do nothing. Your hobby is worked out just perfectly for you.
Now, my grandmother crocheted. She did teach me.
Okay.
I don't remember a lick of it.
But the non-ring micros at the shootout, I find myself going back and watching that.
It's the best racing.
It's crazy. It's absolutely. I don't know if it's just a little bit less horsepower than the. I don't know what it is.
No,
it's so good.
I've talked about this in other interviews. I'm the publicist for both events. I love the shootout. I love the Chili Bowl. I look forward. We get to the main events at shootout. It is go time. I could run through a brick wall. I'm so amped up about the main events at the shootout, because it's nowhere do you see that kind of a mixture of talent, background, ability. Even the Chili Bowl with the melting pot that is. The shootout by far eclipses that with everybody that's there competing, because you've got your local guy versus your NASCAR star.
Yeah.
And it's not just in one class, it's in 5 out of the 6 of them.
Now you got a 12-year-old taking on a 60-year. I mean, it's just so it's incredible. It's so fascinating, and a lot of those numbers are up. You're talking about viewing numbers. Just because I got it on all day at work. I'm running the machine. I got my phone up on top. I got it on all evening.
Yeah.
I mean, the last 5 years, I bet I've probably only missed maybe 10 heat races of the shootout. And that's not being there. I absolutely love it. And it's at the time of year where there's nothing going on, so people are race starved, and they want to see something.
That's one of the cool things about it. And of course, when they altered the shootout and they went just to the micros. They went just to the open wheel. They got rid of the carts. They got rid of everything else. You went from running 22 to 24 classes down to 8, then 7. Now we're down to just the core 6. I remember that first year we had 750 entries. The first year, it was the second year actually they did that. And before it was like, man, we used to get over 1,000. It took 3 years to get back over 1,000, and it's not gone below that. Now we're 1,800.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean,
and it's insane because we went through last year and actually did a physical count of how many entries versus cars versus trailers, and figured that all out. And it's wild because now it gives us more insight into, okay, how do we park it and make it better? How do we give people just another inch to work with? Because that's one of the things that parking for the shootout is insane.
No, it's like I have no idea. I've always wondered that, like. Do you guys use some of the other buildings on property? Everything stays in and you use outside.
On the SageNet Center.
Yes, that's
So,
just crazy.
we sat, years ago, we started numbering the spots at the Chili Bowl, and that was a game changer in being able to reassign everybody exactly where we wanted them to go. It's like, hey, you were here last year. There's no point in changing you. You're bringing the same amount of cars. Like, boom, okay, you're going in, say, spot 222. Yeah. So it made that a lot easier. And then this year, Cody Cordell worked with all of us and came up with a mapping system to where now we have everything better labeled. We know exactly who's where and what. And what's nice, too, is it gives us a map to where if somebody crashes now, our
where to find them.
Yeah, our guys that are towing them have a better idea of where to go.
Yeah.
And we can give that to Flo, and they have a better idea of where to go and find these guys if they want to do interviews or stuff like that. So, Cody was instrumental in getting that done for the shootout last year, and obviously carrying that over into this year.
Yeah, it's incredible. I envy you guys, but I respect so much of it because it's one of those things where that month of racing. Luckily, you're home because I could see you just be worn completely out that month.
I'll do more hours during Expo than I swear than I will for 6 months out of the year working on the road, and wouldn't trade it for anything. Love it.
No, that's one of those things that every year when I go to Chili Bowl when I leave, that 12-hour drive home is not bad because I'm already thinking about next year. I'm like, how can I pull off the shootout and the Chili Bowl? That's how I concentrate till I get back to about middle of Missouri, and then I'm thinking, okay, I'm gonna have to hurry up because I gotta be home to work tomorrow morning.
So you're talking about the 12-hour drive. Say you leave 8 o'clock Sunday morning. This year, and it happens about every 5 or 6 years because this is a multi-event facility. They go from the dirtiest shows of the year to the cleanest. They go from Shootout and Chili Bowl to the Boat and RV show. And with the way the calendar works, it's like an accordion. We'll get like this, and then we'll start getting on top of each other again. Well, this year we were on top of each other. 24 hours to have the entire top of the building completely cleared out. 36 to have the bottom. Track, grandstands, everything.
Yeah, that's crazy to think. I mean,
so yeah, we had trailers, everything, trade show, offices, everything cleared out of the top. By this time the sun came up Sunday morning.
You're not going home that night, are you?
No. My parents come up for that event. In fact, my parents actually helped work with the event. And the only break I got, I went, typed the press release. I'd have to go back and look at the timestamp, but it was probably 7, 8 o'clock in the morning by the time I got to where I could type the press release. Got that posted, went, grabbed my parents, took them to the airport so they could fly home, and I think I nodded off for about 25 minutes. And then went back to the building, and then we were back at it, clearing out the bottom and getting all that squared away.
Every year that the Chili Bowl's over, how many of you guys, I know you said you love it, but how many of the staff were saying, this is my last year, I'm not doing it again, and then they come right back? Because I can see the workload where they were like, yeah, this is it.
Not very often, actually.
Yeah.
The people that are there because they want to be there, they love it. It's not out of the ordinary for a lot of our employees who have been there for 10, 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
And I look at Matt Ward, our director of operations. Obviously, he's been there since he was a little kid. Matt, he was the director of the American Sprint Car Series for pretty much the entire time that I was there.
Okay, yeah.
And then I worked for Terry Maddox for a couple of years whenever he took the series over. And when that went away, that's when I went to USAC. And then Matt's wife, Ashley, was our director of timing and scoring for, I think it was 14, 15 years. And she took over from Donna Hahn, who is Matt's mom.
Okay.
And she went back and worked more in the office, and now Ashley has transitioned to where she works in the office now, and she's in there, kind of helping deal with the day-to-day. But Matt, obviously being the director of operations, he oversees everything. So you're looking at Matt, who's been there his whole life, Ashley, who's been there for going on 15, 16 years. I've been there since I started with Racing Boys in 2011. So that's how long I've been there. Larry Atkins, who is our IT guy, he's been there pretty much since day one. Kelly, who works at the bottom of the ramp, he's been there for, I think, since day one, well over 30 years. And a lot of the people who still work in the pit lane, a lot of people of our officials, they've been there kind of the same thing, that kind of 10 to 15, almost 20 years.
Yeah, that's astonishing that, and the event goes off like everybody's been there forever. It goes off without a hit. Well, I'm sure there is some hiccups on your end that we don't see, but it's a well-oiled machine.
If we have one, we try to drink water quick.
Yeah, race day. I know how much prep you have, but I wouldn't be doing justice if I didn't cover a little bit of streaming at all. As a guy that started with Racing Boys and has done some stuff with Dirt Vision, and now you work with Flow and World Racing Group, and all this coming together, where do you see our sport going with streaming? Because I think that it's the greatest thing ever, but I was also a tape trader. I also have all those DVDs I was telling you about. So where do you see our sport going?
It's a tool. It's like anything. If you use it correctly, it'll work wonders. A lot of promoters, they stand there and say, well, it's killing my weekly crowd. It can't kill your weekly crowd if you're not streaming. So a few years ago, and I've been over here looking it up because I knew I had to save it on my phone, I did a market survey, and I said, do you use a streaming service if you can't attend a race? 73.8% said yes. Depends on who, what, when, and where, 24.5%, and no, 0.8%. Do you use streaming service when you're in attendance? 69.4% yes. 30% no. So there's still a bunch of people who use streaming service. We saw it last night on the broadcast.
At the racetrack. I'm one of those guys.
Well, 81% watch on their cell phones. 75% of respondents were on a smart TV, then laptop, tablet, computer, other, and then, does a streaming, this is the big question, does a streaming service prevent you from attending a race? 82.5% no.
Yes, that's a...
Maybe, 14.7%. Yes, it will stop me from attending, 2.8%. What are the top 5 reasons you watched instead of attending? 88.1% weather and forecast.
Yeah.
5.1% the number of classes. 4.7% distance to the event. 1% the show runs too long. And about 1% staff and personnel.
Yeah.
So this is straight from our consumers. Your show, your quality of your product, how long you run your show, the way you treat your fan base, your promotional style, because we can't promote like we're still in the 70s and 80s. You have to use technology, you have to embrace it, you have to have multi-level. You have to use traditional, because a lot of our fan base, let's face it, they're on Social Security. And that's something we're trying to fix. We're trying to bring that younger fan base in. We're trying to build the future of this sport. And that is where you have your streaming. That's where you have your social media. That you're able to use those as tools. But if you're walking into a surgery wielding a hatchet, it's not going to do you any good. You have to use the tool for what it is intended. So if you're running a weekly program, in my opinion, don't stream.
Yeah.
It's not to your benefit. But when a major event comes in or something like that, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because it's only going to help you build. And if you're going to do anything, maybe you have, instead of live streaming, you tape it. Hey, I'm going to post it later in the week. Or if you're going to do something, do Facebook Live. You don't have to go through, and don't get me wrong, I'm not putting down Flow or Speed Shift or Dirt Vision or any of the providers. You can do a basic setup. It's still going to have overhead. It's still going to have costs. You still have to have somebody there to produce and run and everything. But you can do just a Facebook Live. If you're wanting to do something like that, and that is going to get people's attention, if your show is run well, if you have a good program, you're not running 18 million classes, you're not holding everybody hostage until 3 a.m., then it becomes a very, very valuable tool.
Well, that's where I'm at. I love streaming. Well, like I said, I was the guy that I traded tapes. Hey, do you got the World of Outlaw stuff that was on TNN? Well, I've got the USAC stuff that was on Thunder. Like,
oh yeah,
let's trade. Like I was that guy. I was that kid.
I still have the tape of Brad Doty getting back in the car at Eldora.
Yeah. I
mean, this is stuff. Yeah, we recorded all that stuff. I still have tubs of this stuff.
I've got totes and totes and totes of it. Just But one thing I will say about streaming, if it's within a couple hours of my house, I am going. If it's an event I want to see, I'm not staying home because it's 2 hours away.
Yeah.
Like, I've always gone there. I've always traveled up. I've been to over 300 racetracks. I travel the country. That's my passion. I love doing that. I'm the type of guy that I kind of make a schedule out around my schedule of what's available, that next weekend I'm off, so I can hit 6 different tracks.
Yeah.
What's the weather? So but streaming to me, it's a cop out for racetracks that aren't up all with the time. It's last year I had
And just to
1,200
clarify,
people.
we're not dogging on racetracks. We're
No,
not dogging
yeah.
on anybody. This is what I see working in this industry and knowing that yes, it can be used and you can build your brand and your product and you can make it better. But you actually have to put that work in to make it happen. So here's an example. Creek County Speedway does not stream their stuff weekly. You know what they do? Hey, this weekend, if you live in Creek County, Oklahoma, you get in free.
That's better than
So,
streaming.
what's the difference between that and streaming?
Yeah.
The only difference is if I stream, okay, I'm not going to sell popcorn.
Yeah.
But there's all different ways, especially in a world where the cost of everything just continues to go up and up and up, that we can make this, 1, affordable for families, and 2, entertaining to where you have the kids going, I want to go to the races.
Yeah. And you got like we had Briggs Zander on the show. Briggs, crazy travel to support the USAC deal. I mean, he's got his mom never goes on the road. His family, they can follow along, because of streaming. Where if he doesn't have that option, I don't know if he's out on the road. Because, he's such a tight-knit family, he may not be on the road if there wasn't no streaming.
And not only that, you talk about that, now the sponsors, whether it's the track or the teams, have another outlet for exposure. And that's the other thing, when you've got your local track, hey, we're going to do a stream, we will sell you the naming rights to this stream. It is so much per event or so much per year, or maybe you want to do this month or maybe you want to do this month. You have another revenue stream. And you can, look at your sponsor and say, hey, we want to sell you Victor Lane because, man, that camera is going to be pointed at your sign for at least 5 minutes every night. That's all they're going to see is your name. So here we have Signorama Victory Lane. Go back and count how long that sign was in that broadcast last night.
Yeah.
Reaching not just the local crowd, but, and I don't know how many were watching last night. Let's just say for grins there was 7,000 people watching. Okay, now 7,000 people just saw your name.
Yeah.
Does it going to correlate into direct sales? I don't know.
But it's better than 7,000 not seeing it.
Yeah.
Regardless. And, I mean, there's so much.
It's more effective than a billboard.
Yeah. Well, and that's like me. Like, I live in the Midwest. I love the West Coast racetracks. I wish the USAC West Coast, I wish all of y'all's stuff, I know, they're working on things and trying to get stuff, but, all the NARC stuff, everything on the West Coast, I can keep up with that. And when I was a kid, to get the CRA stuff, that was like, if it wasn't for my buddy Jack Slash, I wouldn't have got any video of the West Coast.
Okay. Why do you think to this day I will still use Tide? They sponsored a race car.
Yep.
To this day, there's still brands that I saw on race cars and at racetracks that I'm loyal to this day.
That's why I do O'Reilly's all the time, because they sponsor everything. I'm an O'Reilly's guy when I got to work on something.
Oh, I'm excited because they're building one just down the road from where I live. Now I don't have to drive 10 miles to get to a parts store.
Yeah.
And they support racing. They're a sponsor of the Chili Bowl. They sponsor
everything.
Events all over the country.
Yeah.
But that's little things, and like I said, it can be used as a very, very useful tool. You just have to actually use it.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I would keep you here until driver's introductions, because
if I talk anymore, I'm going to probably get fired.
Yeah, okay, yeah. And they're going to say, listen, look, you done told too many secrets, but I really appreciate you coming on. Thank you for being so gracious with your time, especially because I knew the only other chance I had with the way everything was going to work out was going to be the Chili Bowl, and I know how busy you are. And that was almost undoable. But I'm going to screw the name up again. It's what, Herbert?
Hulbert.
Hulbert. Bryan Hulbert. This is what you saved your lunch money for. Okay, we know that. We understand that, but I appreciate your time. Thank you.
So, I've told this story before, and that's one thing that people are, oh, God, you need to stop saying that.
No, please don't.
That is a nod to a very, very good friend of mine who came up with that. Her name is Sarah Holloway, and her middle initial is Q. So you either knew Sarah or you knew Q. And Q is gangster.
No.
Hates sprint cars. Loves modifieds, hates sprint cars. She doesn't like sprint cars because they crash so much. It scares her. So we're getting ready to go green one night in southern New Mexico, and she tells me, I've been saving my lunch money for this. So that's where it came from. And that is my nod to her, to my friend.
No, please don't ever stop using it. I'm not, people are going to...
It's goofy, but it's fun.
People are going to shit on me when I say this. That punchline is better than the Johnny Gibson World Outlaw phrase. To me, because it's the working man sitting at the racetrack. It's not all show. This is what you saved your lunch money for. There's families that save their money because it's not cheap to bring their family to the racetrack. I absolutely love it. When they start down the backstretch, I'm almost like, here comes the 30, like quick trips, 30, like I'm just like over and over in my head because, and in a couple of races you didn't say it this year, I'm thinking, what are you doing?
Wheatland, Missouri, that's one that I don't. When I was with ASCS and we'd always do the Hockey McMillan Memorial, when it came to the final night, I would always say it's showtime in the Show Me State, and it would get Matt Ward just fired up when I would do it. So when we were going back, I was like, I have to do it.
Yeah.
So they left it in, and I sent the link to the highlights to Matt, and he loved it.
Yeah.
But there's some places where I do say stuff different, but that's my nod to Q, and it's a nod to when I first started into this business. And there's things that I will use that I will give credit for, like the sit back, relax, and enjoy. That's Chris Steppen.
Yes.
That is my thank you to him, because he was very integral in teaching me this business and teaching me the job of announcing and helping me to get to this point.
Another underrated announcer.
Steppen's fantastic.
Yes.
That's where I learned a lot of kind of the voice control and kind of keeping tempo with the race. There's stuff that I say that I know is Bachhoven. There's stuff that I say that it is my reference to Chet or to any of these guys, and that's my thank you.
No. Well, we appreciate you coming on, and like I said, it was a pleasure, and thank you for squeezing us in, because I know how busy your schedule is. You don't even got to tell me. I know. I keep up with you on social media. I know how busy the damn schedule is. So we appreciate you coming on, and look forward to the Fall Nationals tonight. $20,000 to win USAC National Sprint Cars. So.
Gonna have some fun. Thanks for having me on.
All right, Flash. That was Bryan Hulbert, the United States Auto Club. One of the best announcers going today, the king of one-liners. Bryan sat down with me and was gracious with his time on a race day. I know how busy that is.
Yeah.
And we tried to do it the Friday before, but it just didn't work out. So did it Saturday morning. It was one of those days that turned into be a long, long day. But we're very gracious on his time. One thing that I really like about Bryan is he gave a very detailed. So if you're an announcer, an aspiring announcer, someone that's been doing it for a long time, or someone that just even wants to get into announcing. A lot of our interviews and deep dive conversations, they're not questionnaires, they're conversations, bullshit sessions. But Bryan gives a very detailed way of, how to call a race, how to pay attention to what's going on. If you're involved in the sport, you can learn a lot from this one.
Yeah.
Because of his background in music and stuff. And who would have thought that he's a violinist?
Yeah.
He plays every type, musical instrument you can think of. But he talks about, just how to slow down when calling a race. And I did not do a very good job of that last night.
Yeah.
When the four-cylinder Furies were throwing bombs on each other.
Yeah.
I did not slow down. Like I'm terrible at that. But he is a guy that he said he took his hobby, turned it into a job, and never look for another hobby. And I said, well, you're living your best life all over the country. It's just tough with the amount of travel and stuff because he doesn't live in the Indianapolis area,
right?
Where everybody's from. He still lives in Tulsa.
Yeah.
So he's making drives, but he's like nonchalantly. Usually I leave on Thursday and I'm back on Monday.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, then Tuesday you do your laundry. Wednesday you go to dinner, and then you leave on Thursday again.
Yeah, you're out again.
Yeah, but said his wife works in education, and she's very understandable. So, but he still does a lot of work for the Amercian Sprint Car Series stuff, and does he still takes care of all the tickets. If you got Chili Bowl tickets, he is the guy that will call you back if your tickets get sent back.
Oh yeah,
yeah, he's that guy. So, so this week's upcoming events, we're going to start off with the racetrack spotlight. The racetrack spotlight is where Flash and I are spending this weekend. Thunder Valley Raceway in beautiful Salem, Indiana, at the bottom of the square. Flash, old school. We're turning back the clock here.
Yeah.
JT Huffman and the Flag to Flag Media, Zachary Stalker. I don't know how many people are involved in this, but a big group of goulash is putting this event on. So we're happy to go up there and help out.
Yeah.
If you've never been to Thunder Valley Raceway, we definitely need you there this week. Main reason because we need a big crowd, we need a big car count, we need a big turnout, so we make sure we still have the damn racetrack.
Yeah,
that's
what we want. That's why we're all pitching in and try to keep this thing going.
Not going to beat around the bush.
I drove up earlier this week and looked at it. Man, they've made a big improvement on it already. They've got the track all. Well, they don't have it worked in yet, but they've got it all turned over. And it's probably got like a 7-inch. They probably turned it over 7 or 8 inches down already. So
well, that's good because we got plenty of rain, so they'll be able to roll it in this week.
Yep,
Mother Nature helped out. Yeah, Mother Nature helped out.
Well, I know they got some today because Salem is supposed to be running today, and I don't know if they've started. I don't think they've started the Halloween race yet.
Well, they kind of knew that was gonna happen.
Yeah,
I
I think they'll get it in though now because it's cleared off, and it's gonna be like the old school when they used to do it on Halloween, the Halloween weekend, where it's gonna be nice and cool tonight.
Yeah. Well, is it really going to be like old school?
Yeah, no.
Okay. We'll leave it at that.
Right.
But back to the other topic. JT's Trackside Catering Racetrack Spotlight, Thunder Valley Speedway. It's listed as a quarter mile. It's got long straightaways, tight.
Yeah.
I'm thinking it's probably more of a fifth mile.
Yeah, I would call it more of a fifth.
Yeah, it's more of a fifth mile. It's got slight to moderate banking, but it does have red clay.
Yeah.
And part of Indiana, if you go 20 miles down the road, Brownstown does not have red clay.
Right.
So it's got good dirt.
Yeah.
And especially with they're running the Pure Stocks, Crown Vics, Hornets, and Scrappers. Flash is going to be doing the tech and the lineup. I'm going to be slinging the sticks. So be up there doing our flag, doing the flag and stuff. And so hopefully everybody comes out, shows up to this event. Like I said, because we really need everybody to come out and support this event. First off, it's a neat racetrack, Little County Fairgrounds track.
Yeah. Super
neat. It's one of those places that when you walk in, it's real old school. There's not the racetrack is the event.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
They do
have pretty nice bleachers though.
Yeah. They do got good bleachers. But I mean, it's just the amenities is not there. It's just a racetrack, and we want to keep it a racetrack.
Yeah.
So we need you there. We need you to show up, show out, tell everybody you can. It's really affordable. I think it's like $8 or $10 or something to get in. $10.
I think it's 10. I think
it's $10 to get in. 20 or 25 to get in.
But I think 16 and under get in free. I think what it said on there. Yeah.
So it's
So you can bring the family out, and I think we're gonna have a few giveaways too from us. So.
Yeah, I think Trading Sliders are going to give some stuff away. Are they doing it? They're doing a trunk or treat too, right?
Yeah, I think they are. I'm almost sure they are.
Yeah. Well, if not, we'll get some candy away or something.
Yeah.
We'll figure something out.
Yeah.
But we need everybody out there this week.
Yeah.
And
we both raced there, so we really want this place to hang.
Yeah, we want this place. That's where I ran my first ever dirt race.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the sports dome got rained out.
Yep, that's cool.
Doodle Dog Earl Riley talked me into going up there.
Yeah.
So that's tell you how long ago that was, Flash.
Yeah, that was a while back.
Yeah, that was a while back. Friday and Saturday, the Ironman late models at our Atomic Speedway. $5,000 to win Friday, $15,000 to win Saturday. And when the Ironman late models are in town, Flash, what would you think the support class should be?
You would think it would be modified.
You would think.
Yeah.
410 wing sprint cars both nights. 410 wing sprint cars and Super Late models.
Yeah, that'd be a good show
that's
there.
going to be a pretty good weekend. They're at a pretty badass little racetrack, Atomic Raceway, there in Ohio. Saturday night, the Southern All-Star Super Late models are at the I75 Raceway, where we just came from. $10,000 to win. Friday and Saturday, they have the Monster Mash. I think we just had a Monster Mash.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, I guess that's the Mania stuff now.
Yeah.
Everything's Mania.
Yeah.
Mod Mania, Figure 8 Mania, Late Model Mania.
Yeah.
Now we got the Monster Mash. But the Monster Mash going on part 2 at Mount Pilgrim Speedway. Friday nights, they're running Modifieds, B-Mods, maybe Crown Vics.
Yeah.
Saturday night, the Ultimate Heart of America, $5,000 to win Super Late models, UMP Modifieds, Thunder Cars. So that will be going on at the Mount Pilgrim Speedway. USAC heads west to the Western World at the Central Arizona Speedway. $35,000 to win Saturday nights. United States Auto Club finale on the year. They're at Jerry Petty's place.
Yeah.
Over 45 pre-entered cars already.
Yeah.
So we got everybody from the West Coast coming. Gage Montgomery's coming from the West Coast. JJ Yaley.
Yeah.
It's going Charles Davis Jr. So the West versus the East are meeting right there in Arizona and going to do the damn thing.
Yeah.
That a racetrack that races badass too.
The race is good, yeah.
Yeah, race is really good. So that's looking forward to that. And then something a little closer to home. If you're a modified guy, they got the B-Mod Bash at Tri-City, Illinois, Friday and Saturday. Friday night, $1,500 to win. Saturday night, $3,000 to win for the B-Mods. And the A-Mods, Mod Mania, that got rained out. They're going to race this is going to be the makeup day for them.
Oh,
so
yeah.
$2,000 to win Friday, $5,000 to win Saturday. So it's all modifieds all weekend at Tri-City, Illinois.
That's a badass little track, too.
Yeah.
But not really a little track.
Yeah, badass
Good
track.
size track, yeah.
Robert, let me know.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a little track.
Oh, they're going to cut it down.
They're gonna
Shrink it down
shrink it down a little bit. It's gonna look a little bit like Farmer City.
Yeah.
So that's a little tidbit that was passed along.
That's pretty cool.
Saturday night, Volunteer Speedway. They have I thought they were calling it Halloween Havoc, like the old wrestling deal.
Yeah.
The best plumber 604 late models. They call them 604s. They don't call them pros.
Right.
But the best plumber 604 late models, $5,000 to win at Vic Hills Volunteer Speedway. And then Friday and Saturday, the World of Outlaw Sprint Cars make their way back west. They go west, Midwest, back west.
Yeah.
Then they're going to come east to Charlotte. They don't care.
Yeah.
These dudes are doing the damn thing. Friday night, 81 Speedway, Park City, Kansas. And then Saturday night, if you have nothing else going on after you get home from coming and supporting us, turn on Dirt Vision. Arrowhead Speedway, one of the best racetracks in the country, has the World of Outlaw Sprint Cars Saturday night. So you can go sprint cars and USAC on 2 different TVs and have a good time. So
there you go.
That's this week's
And I
upcoming.
do have 2 TVs now in my living room. So
Do you? Okay, there you go.
I ain't got 3 like you, but
Well, hey,
2's about all I'm going. That's about I'm maxed out pretty much.
I'm thinking about putting a 4th one there in the middle where the video games are.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and the main reason for that is because the start to finish stuff they put. Never mind.
Yeah.
I might just put another one.
Yeah.
Okay. For some reason, you can only have a certain amount of IP addresses.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know. That's just some tech nerd shit.
Yeah.
All right. You got anything before we get off here?
Just please come out and support us this weekend down at Thunder Valley Speedway because it's kind of near and dear to ours. So
Yeah, we need help.
Yep.
And we want this place to succeed.
I think we'll probably try to get there early and do a race day report early so we can remind everybody.
Yeah, we'll race day report it. We might do 1 lap, 1 beer type race day report, but we're not going to do it. 1 lap, 1 something.
Yeah, we can't do that because you only got like a minute and a half on there. We can do.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. We'd have to somebody drive us around.
We'd have to run, and I'm not into running anymore.
We'll do half turn, half water.
There you go.
So, but please like, subscribe, share, comment, tell people about us. Support your local racetracks, especially us this week. Anything else?
No, I think we're good.
All right. Until next time, we'll be trading sliders.